Any hoodles. So we've got our cacti and succulent mix right here. This is our burrito's tail, our jade plant, our echeveria starburst, and our haworthia. Over here we have our pilea, which is growing beautifully. As you can see, pilea will grow into a tree-like structure if allowed to grow large enough. And here is our croton, which is a little pockmark with hard water growth, but as you can see, a little bit of rubbing will allow it to come off. This is our Dracaena. This plant was actually rescued from my local Lowe's, which I can't even describe the condition that it was in. This plant was actually about this tall on camera originally, but it was exposed to some seriously harsh cold conditions here in Michigan when we had our major frost flash. So what you see now is the growth that has arrived from the root stem and has grown up through the original stem from the original plant. It's actually quite healthy, and I'm actually very excited to see what it'll do as it ages. Now, over here, we have our Majesty Palm. I just recently cut a small stem off of it due to the fact that it was not properly producing like it should be. I'm sorry, I just knocked over my lamp. I might be a little bit tipsy. Yeah, so from now on, we will call this the Tipsy Houseplant / Specimen channel. Over here, I believe I have already walked through the majority of my major plants, but if we were to take a gander into the house, you would see that I've got about 4 houseplants right here. This is a Sansevieria, which is known as a snake plant. This plant actually has a fascinating story behind it. My partner, Tristan, had left it without watering it for about 6 months, and it had completely dried out. I'm talking absolutely and utterly dried to the point where I didn't think that it was even alive. And I had watered it, and it turned back into a snake plant, which I was absolutely astounded by. And then over here, we have our starling ivy, which grows beautifully. It has a beautiful growth habit. It starts by growing upwards, and then it curves downward, and then it does that nice little arc that you can see right there. So it falls down, and then it pushes itself back up, and then it'll fall right back down again. And then over here we have our jade and pearl pothos. Again, other people will like to call it pothos, but I prefer to call it pothos because I think that it sounds more phonetically correct. You can see the beautiful variegation here. And then over here we have our parlor palm, which is a species of palm tree, but a lot of people will consider it a small minor palm that isn't necessarily beautiful. However, I prefer to grow them so that they get these nice beautiful trunks, as you can see right here, and then I'll split them after they've matured a little bit more, and they will become full-fledged palms. Now, over here, I will walk you over to my kitchen. You can see, I'm sorry that the house is in such a mess.